Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, hi everyone. Good morning. I'm Professor José Luis Fernández from University of Cantabria, and I was responsible of this tax 5 in Work Package 6 of Mayday project. So, as you can see in the screen, the title of this tax was Estimation of the Economic Impact of Improvements in Production and Marketing. So the aim of this tax 5 was to analyze the economic impact at the farm level, micro level, how some specific measures in the production or marketing areas of the firm or farm can improve the financial performance of the CBAS and seagrain producers in the European agriculture industry. So this study, well, our aim in this study was to evaluate how some specific changes in some operational parameters in farms, how they could impact on operating revenues, costs, and financial or economic results of a typical production European farm, hatchery or grow-out facility, producing seabass and seagrain in the Mediterranean Sea. So this was the main specific objective of this tax. Well, the methodology we use in this case was to create a model, an economic model with 2 parts, an economic part of the model with economic variables and parameters, and other part in the model related with the production. So this model is a static model. It's not a dynamic or more complex model because in our model we don't introduce environmental or biological variables. But it's a model because we didn't want to optimize the production process in a farm. But in this case, our idea was to have a good representation of a typical farm in order to analyze the economic impact on the annual income statement of that farm, and how some changes in some operational parameters in the model could change the financial results of those farms. So our idea was to develop that static model to analyze the annual income statement of a typical farm in Europe. So we create the model using different representing the production process of a typical farm. So we include the seeding, feeding, other variables representing other costs in a farm. So our idea was to include many parameters in the model that we can change it. So in order to modify those parameters and to analyze the changes in the financial results of the farm. So we created this model to simulate the functioning of this typical farm, introducing many parameters we can change, and we also assume, or we set up different scenarios to analyze the effects of specific measures in those economic or financial variables in the farm. So at the beginning, for the delivery of this tax, we create 4 different scenarios, one for a hatchery of seabass and seagrain, and other 3 scenarios for grow-out facilities producing sea bass and sea bream in the Mediterranean Sea. Also, we have continued collaborating with other work packages in MEDAI, with Work Package 8, and we created for that other production typologies or scenarios to analyze specific financial results, analyzing different measures.
Sorry, I interrupt, José Luis, but
Yeah.
you are still in the objectives slide, and your talk, I think, is already.
Yeah, because now I have the conclusions. So I have only.
Okay, because the presentation I have has more slides.
Because okay. I'm explaining the methodology process.
I'm very sorry.
Before to obtain the conclusions. Okay. Thank you, Dolor. And so the idea was to prepare different scenarios, specifically to cooperate with Work Package A. For example, we create 9 different scenarios in a sea bass grower farm. For example, defining different production, different farm sizes. For example, very small size, a larger size, and a medium larger farm. And we define 3 different production strategies. For example, in the case of to produce 450 grams fish, or to produce 1 kilo fish, or to produce 2 kilo fish. So now I would like to present you the main results in the tax we published in the delivery was that the price, the sales price of sea bass or sea bream, that parameter is the most important factor in order to impact in the financial results of the farm. But analyzing the different operational parameters in the farm, we conclude that there are specific parameters. For example, the case of survival rates, for example, is a very important parameter to compensate, for example, increases in price. So here I would like to present you some specific conclusions of our work in progress, cooperating with Work Package 8. We expect to publish in future academic papers. Well, in this case, we have a conclusion for sea bass producers for a grow-out farm. In this case, the growth and survival rates in the farm can compensate, for example, increases in prices. Decreases in prices in the farm. Okay, so improving the growth rate and the survival rate in these farms, we can compensate a lot. For example, a specific decrease in the sales price in the farm. So in this case, we recommend, for example, to analyze some innovations and improvements, for example, in feed nutrition in the farm, or for example, in health management in the farms, for example, in prevention, vaccination, biosecurity, or for example, in some in breeding conditions of the farm, because these improvements can improve the growth and survival rates in the farms and can compensate, for example, decreases in price of the sea bass. Okay. Another interesting conclusion of these studies is under the working assumptions we have in the model. The production of 2 kilo fish is the best option for farms, regardless the farm size. So here the farm size is not so important, and is more important the production strategy. In this case, the 2 kilogram, the production of 2 kilogram fish is the most important result because it is the production strategy with the highest impact in the economic results of the farm. for 1 kilo fish, we can obtain similar results. So it's another other alternative to that production strategy. And the worst results were obtained with a production of 450 grams fish. Okay. Okay, the results, these results are explained because we obtain lower production operating costs with the production of 2 kilo fish, but also we have higher prices per kilo in the case of producing 2 kilo fish. So in that case, we obtain the largest profit margins, and we obtain the best results in the income statement of the farm. So our recommendations in this case, well, we propose to use these economic models to simulate, for example, to understand better for producers, to understand better some improvements in the farms, for example, related with technical management improvement, for example, or the implementation or other measures related with the health of the farm or related with the feed or feed efficiency in the farm. So this we are employing this model, for example, to analyze the direct cause of diseases affecting, for example, in the case of sea bass, and we can estimate the direct cause of these diseases growing out the sea bass, and we can analyze, for example, economically if it's interesting for the farmer, if it's better to spend or to invest more money in prevention or in treatments, for example, or another possibility or alternative of using these economic models is, for example, to analyze economically if it's more interesting to introduce some innovations in feeding, for example, some investment in automatic feeders, for example. So the use of these economic models could be very interesting for the management of the sea bass and sea bream farmers in Europe in order to improve their financial performance. That's it.